It happened to me in Japan, back in the early 2000s. It's one of those stories that sticks in your head and makes you question what's real and what's not. So, for context, I grew up as a military brat, half Japanese, half American. I spent most of my life bouncing between Japan and the US, and I can tell you from experience, when it comes to ghost stories or anything paranormal, there's a different kind of chill in Japan. It's not just scary, it's spiritually unsettling. I was back in Japan on winter break from college in the States. Most of my old friends had already moved away, but a couple were still around, so we hung out a lot that December. One night, my friend, let's just call him Jay, wanted to practice drifting in his Nissan Silvia. If you're into cars, that's basically a Japanese 240SX. He wasn't good at it, but he tried anyway. We had nowhere to be, so he suggested we head to this place called Asamizo Park, near our hometown of Sagamihara. It's a big public park, lots of empty parking lots surrounded by trees, and at night, it's dead quiet. Perfect for drifting, or for something much creepier. We got there around 10 p.m. It was cold, dark, and empty. The kind of stillness where even your breath feels too loud. Jay started whipping his car around the lot, tires squealing, smoke rising. My other friend R and I stood off to the side, just smoking and talking. Suddenly, the phone in my pocket buzzed. That was weird, because I was borrowing my little sister's cell phone while I was home. Almost nobody had the number, just my mom and sister, really. I pulled it out, restricted number. I answered, Moshi? Moshi? That's how you say hello on the phone in Japanese. There was static. Then a quiet girl's voice. She sounded unsure, like she wasn't expecting me to answer. I figured it was one of my sister's friends, so I told her, Hey, I'm her brother. She's not here right now. If you need her, call the house. She said, Sorry. Then she hung up. Weird, but whatever. 10 minutes later, same number calls again. I answer, and it's the same girl. But this time, she asks, Why did you leave the last spot? I froze. I hadn't told her I was in a park. Hell, I hadn't told her anything. I said, Wait, how do you know where I am? She laughed a little and said, I thought you said you were at a park. I hadn't. That's when I started feeling a little off. We decided to switch to another parking lot deeper into the park. This one had some soccer fields nearby and big orange street lamps casting light over the lot. But the uneasiness came back. That same feeling, like we were being watched. Then the phone rang again. Same girl. She said, I see you. I like your gray jacket. Now I was seriously spooked. She couldn't have seen me. There was no one around. I looked out across the soccer field. Nothing. She said she was coming over to hang out. Then she hung up again. I told R and J what she'd said. Neither of them had told anyone where we were. We hadn't posted anything, hadn't called anyone. This was the early 2000s. No social media, no tracking. Then, another call. This time, she sounded annoyed. Why did you leave again? She said she was almost at the last lot, and we just left her there. I told her I never told her where I was, that no one should even know I'm out. She replied, softly, I see you're with your friends again, with the same car. Then she asked, should I come now? I hung up, and then she called again. But this time, she said something that made all of us freeze. I'll just meet you at the Family Mart you're about to stop at. Now, Family Mart is a Japanese convenience store chain, kind of like a 7-Eleven. And the thing is, we hadn't told anyone we were planning to stop there. We hadn't even talked about it out loud. Jay hit the brakes so hard we all jerked forward. He turned to me, white as a sheet, and said, "How the hell does she know we're going to Family Mart?" I shut the phone off. We drove straight to a 24-hour diner where we knew some of our Japanese friends would be hanging out. When we sat down, we started telling them the whole story. At first, they laughed, but slowly the mood changed. One of the girls, A-chan, asked us again exactly where in the park we had been. When I told her, she looked at her boyfriend, who just quietly lit a cigarette. Then he said something that made everything click in the worst possible way. "You guys know someone was murdered there, right?" We just stared. He went on. "A girl was walking through that park at night. Someone dragged her into the woods. She was raped and strangled. They found her body in the greenbelt. People say weird stuff happens out there now. Her spirit watches." I asked if he was messing with us. He just shook his head. "You should go to a shrine, spirits like that. Sometimes they follow people home." That was the last night I used that phone. I never turned it back on. But even now, years later, I sometimes wake up in the middle of the night, feeling like someone's outside the window. And every now and then, just before I fall asleep, I swear I can still hear her voice. Software, barely a whisper. "I see you." And just before the call ends, she says something I'll never forget. "You can turn off the phone, but I still know where you are. Do you have a strange or scary story of your own? Email it to me. My email's in the description. Let me know if it's real or fiction, and be sure to include permission to use it. Like, share, and subscribe for more real horror stories. And, as always, stay safe out there